Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lennon, how you guys doing? And today on the Total War channel, we're not gonna play a Total War game, which might be surprising as this is a Total War channel. But however, we're not gonna play a Total War, we're gonna talk about Total War. Because what I want to do is, like you've seen in the past couple of videos, I love playing Total War Rome 2. Now I'm playing modded, but I used to play a lot of vanilla as well. So what I thought would be a fun thing to do is make a tier list of the best playable factions that there are. And to do that, so I got about the tier maker website, and along and behold, it has a tier list for Rome 2 playable factions. So it's not really specified on how what is what. But I think we're just gonna do it like S is one of the best ones to play in terms of easy, cool units, good strategies, and F is just gonna be shitty ass factions to play. So that is what I basically want to do. And just for one thing, I can't see Rome in here. Oh, over here, sorry. So we're just gonna start with the first one. We're just gonna go down the row, and for some of those. For some factions I might have a little bit more of a story, for some factions I'm just like, meh. So Egypt, I'm gonna put at an S, because my first playthrough of Rome 2 that I actually, besides Rome of course, played and completed was Egypt. And I always really enjoyed Egypt. The starting locations, like you have the choice to go west and to go east. And they just have a really cool unit roster with like swords, pikes, elephants, archers. They have a bit of everything, which I really enjoyed. At first I never really enjoyed, but they have a good mix of units between elephants, pikes, and a couple of sword units. So I think I'm gonna put them over here. Galatia is kind of cool faction to play with. I'm gonna put it at a B or a C, because it has kind of good. It has good builds with it. Asia I never really played, so I'm gonna put that along here, because I don't really like the Dacians with only their weak spears. I felt always like they were a little bit underwhelming, like a little bit of the underdog. Icini I'm gonna put in an A or B, because I really enjoyed playing them as well. They say they have an easy start with, which is basically true if you talk about like how they start in Britannia. So that is maybe a little bit easier to conquer. But I always found you have a little bit of a hard time getting into Gaul, because they have really a lot of territories in France and that sort of area. And you have to keep pushing armies over there. You don't have developed settlements over there. So there's the challenge. And also I found that with Icini, you're playing a little bit as the underdog in the late game, especially if you go against Rome. Factions like Carthage, if they still live. Moreau, meh, I never played them, and I don't really see the benefits of that faction being under there in the map. Like a hard spot to start with Egypt as your first enemy. The Lusitani were always interesting mix. Where are we gonna put this one? I think we're gonna go over here. There are some really good Lusitani builds. And they have a really interesting starting position as well. You can go north towards Gaul, and you can go south against Carthage and Macedon and all those factions. So I'm gonna put them over here. I enjoyed them. Macedon, I don't know, some people pronounce it differently. I never really understood what it was. Macedon has a really interesting starting position, also between like war with the other Greek factions and above the Barbarian factions that are coming down. Along with Tylus and the Dresians, which are pretty goddamn strong early game. So yeah, that was a good one to play with. And also you have the ability to go every direction. Once you consolidate Athens and Greece over there, you have the ability to go towards Rome, to go fight barbarians, to go east towards Cappadocia and the Seleucids. It's also a really cool, interesting starting location. Also, along with a decent unit roster with, again, the combination between spears and pikes. So with that said, I'm gonna put Athens there as well because I really enjoyed them. Like, I really enjoyed the combined unit roster in that like it's not really specifically based on pikes or that sort of shit. Sazely, like, yeah, the desert tribes. I never really was in the desert tribes. I do have to remind you guys, this is a personal preference. This is my opinion. So if you do have other opinions, just let me know. But please don't trash me too hard. I think the Scythian factions, like the Massagetae, the Roxolani, and Scythia, I think they're really interesting factions because they have a really different playstyle with a lot of cav base, which I find really interesting. But I always had a hard time with managing that much cavalry with horse archers, shock cav, and I believe it was the Massagetae that nearly don't have any infantry to support that. So there was always, it found it interesting, but I never got too late game with it because of, yeah, mostly my inability to micromanagement that much cavalry. Okay, Arvaski, Ski. I'm gonna put them over here. Decent. Lusitania were a little bit better in my opinion. Cilia, really interesting position as a Greek faction between Rome and barbarians, having quite an easy time in the beginning because your hoplites and phalanx units are performing quite well against early sword units. A lot of defensive positions. Late game, they are a little bit underwhelming in my opinion. Their unit roster is not that big that it can go against like Praetorians. Although, to be fair, I believe nothing could stand up against Praetorians. The Bactria, yeah, I can put them over here because I enjoy the Egypt, but the Odrysians were quite strong as well. A little bit difficult to play if you don't know how to use them, because their armies were basically fucking cannon fodder with charge bonus out of the wazoo. So charging and cycle charging were a necessity with this, and that is why I kind of learned how to properly charge infantry and that sort of shit. I'm still not really good at it, but at least I learned a little bit. Nervi, I believe, was this yeah, a pretty good barbaric faction. Parthia, I really enjoy it. Yeah, Parthia, Bactria. On my first streaming campaign, I played Bactria and I finished the whole campaign in like a couple of streams. And Bactria I really like because of the starting position. It's quite an easy starting position as you only have one front, like you're starting with your back against the wall. So it's really easy to expand outwards and then upwards, and then you have like this whole mess of factions that is going to start dealing with your shit. So I really enjoyed that one, along with the diversity in horse archers, slingers, elephants, heavy cav, and quite decent infantry as well as a successor state. Then we have Pergamon, along with the Greek factions. I think that's a pretty decent faction. This, in my opinion, was the second or the third campaign I finished. I really enjoyed the cataphracts, but that was quite early, so I haven't played this that much lately, so I don't know how many patches, how many units they got extra, but it was really early on. Rome, no, no, of course, Rome, yeah, easy, the best faction, yeah, the best to get in with as well. Armenia, although it has a fun starting position like Pontus, has a diverse unit roster. I think I'm gonna put it over here. Like it's a good, but you do have to be aware that you cannot be attacked from all sides. Saba, nah, there's not much going on there in that part of the world. Seleucids, I'm gonna put them over here. Really fun faction to play. Decent, great army unit roster, and a great initial challenge, being that nearly the whole eastern known world is at war with you within a couple of turns because everybody is fighting off their satrapies status with Seleucids. So Sawabians I'm gonna put over here, and that is mostly because I know they can be really good. but I never really got into them. Like, I know they have been used really good for tournaments and online battles with like these unique scare builds with charging and scare abilities and rapid charges. There's a lot of potential with that, but campaign wise, I felt like they were a little bit underdogish against some other factions in their neighbors. Syracuse, yeah, has an interesting starting location, but nothing too special. Tylus. Yeah, Tylus is really good, but it can be quite difficult in the start because you have to fight against the Odrysians and Macedon, and the other Asians that are around there as well. And also have to be mindful of Pergamon and Bithynia on the other on the Eastern Peninsula. But they have a good, strong faction roster and a little bit more holding power than the Odrysians, with a little bit less of the devastating charge, but still good pointers over there. Sparta, I know Sparta has good hoplites. Sparta sucks as an ally. It doesn't do shit, but that's not really... I never liked Sparta really because it's only hoplite based and only phalanx based, which is historically perfectly correct, but it was never really my playstyle. So Boii, really strong. Carthage, S tier, great initial challenge. Having your forces and settlements split across 3 different, I would say continents, but 3 different peninsulas. Like, you have, like, you're on an island with Syracuse, you need to manage Africa, and you also need to manage Spain, which can be quite difficult in the beginning, but which I like it's as an initial rough challenge. RDA, very, very underwhelming troops in my opinion. Colchis, okay, those are pretty good. Yeah, these guys, yeah, over here as well. I never played as them. I don't believe I have that DLC, but I know they can be quite cool units in there as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. My tier list of the playable factions of Rome 2. Let me remind you again, this is my opinion, so if you're thinking I'm totally wrong, you're welcome to say it to my face, but please don't judge me too hard on this. I really enjoyed playing this game, so I basically enjoyed playing all of these factions. I just enjoy some of them a little bit more than the rest. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you want to see me make more tier lists with different Total War games, different leaders, things, whatever, put it down in the comments down below so I can inspect it and get to know a bit more about it. And otherwise, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, as it's greatly appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you want, and if you want to see more, there's a video over here from my channel which you'll probably like, as it's specially picked out for you. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.